Well, I read today, folks, that there's a second petition on the go. And the petition is, now I'm saying that, I didn't even know there was a first. The first is done and dusted. The second one's now on the go in retaliation to the first. In fact, I'll take you back to the first. That's probably best, isn't it? There's a petition that's been on the go. I think it started off in Sweden, Norway, Finland, that kind of area. And those countries set up this petition wanting to ban Israel from the next Eurovision Song Contest. And it got many, many people signing it because of what's happening at the moment in Gaza. Anyway, second petition has now come out for those people that say Israel shouldn't be banned from Eurovision, they should be allowed there. Because when all's said and done, it's a singing competition and it's not about politics. And I think some are saying there are two sides to every story. Now, the three most famous people on the second petition would be Ellen Mirren, what's his name? Gene Simmons out of Kiss, you know him with the big tongue. You might not know that, but he's got a big tongue. And Boy George. Now, I do think Ellen and Gene are both Jewish. I'm pretty certain they are. I'm pretty certain Boy George is not. I mean, he came from Ireland, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty certain he's not. But they're all saying to a man, to a woman, everybody should be allowed in. And on the back of that, I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't know what you folks think anyway. You'll have your own opinions. And I think many will be for not letting Israel in. But I've always said from the outset, I don't agree with any of this death and destruction. I'm gutted for what's happening in Gaza, for everybody involved. And I do mean everybody. I mean, I was shocked with the figures today. I mean, I know that when Hamas first went in, I think they killed something like 1,400 and they took something like 240 hostages. It said since then, since Israel has retaliated, the death toll is about 28,000. And also, I think it said 85% of those within Gaza have lost their homes and have been moved out from the homes. And that's just horrendous, it really is. Many are calling things happening there war crimes and whatever else. But still, I would still maintain, well, Hamas went in first and Hamas did what they did. And I still feel many are forgetting that. But then again, 28,000 is a hell of a lot of people, and it's just a right shame. It's just a pity that the people aren't big enough and don't have the wherewithal and the weaponry to turn maybe on Hamas, because that's who they're after, Israel going in there. And obviously they're digging themselves in trenches and hiding behind civilians, and it's obviously difficult to get them all. And because of that, many civilians are dying, which is absolutely abhorrent. It's awful. It's a real shame. But I don't know. I mean, so we've got two petitions going now. We've got one to not let them in, one to let them in. And as those three I've just mentioned are saying, well, it's a singing contest when all's said and done. And they are also saying there are two sides to look at. And I think that's been lost with many, many people in this country at the moment, in Great Britain. Many are only seeing one side. And I think you do have to look at both. Whichever side you're on, you've got to realise it's a two-sided thing. But it's a shame, isn't it? It's I don't say it's more than a shame. It must be awful living in Gaza at this moment in time, you know, or anywhere in that region, whether you're Jewish or whatever you are. It must be absolutely terrible. Anyway, it's going on, and we can only hope for a quick end to the whole thing, but it's not looking good, just the same as it isn't in the Ukraine with Russia, isn't it, at the moment? It's looking really bad. The world isn't in a great place at the moment, folks. It certainly isn't.